Australia. Head-to-head statistics and prediction. FIFA World Cup 2022, Tunisia versus Australia. Head-to-head.
Let's move on to game number 3. I found this game really tricky, to be honest, because it's Tunisia versus Australia. Tunisia at plus 110, Australia at plus 285. Probably the lowest that either of them have ever been for any game. The draw is a massive runner at plus 220. The under or over is set at 2. I thought the over at 2 was at minus 135. Could have been over 2.5 really at around the minus 105. Marco, here, do we go with Tunisia, who I guess half impressed a little bit more than Australia? Australia were handed a couple of really good opportunities by a French defence. Were just sleeping or lazy?
Yeah, well, I think both kind of surprised me actually in their first games. Tunisia more so, the way in which they attacked Denmark. I don't think it's an exaggeration to say they've not been the most attack-minded team for a long time, really, and that's probably the most proactive they've been in any match across any venue, any competition for a long, long time. And they were pressing, and they were really sort of getting in Denmark's face. They didn't allow Denmark the ball. They were bitey and they battled. Denmark may have dominated the ball for the most part of the first hour, but the shot stats read 13-3 in favour of Tunisia, which was quite remarkable, really. And it really sort of took Denmark to switch systems and bring on a focal point and a target man to sort of change the game in their favour for that last half hour. And traditionally Tunisia have been very, very good at limiting open play opportunities. That was again the case against Denmark, despite being more proactive. If you look at the expected goals figures, almost 90% of the XG that Denmark created came from set-piece situations, which kind of just goes to show how good Tunisia can be at denying opposition teams opportunities from open play. And then you've got the likes of Khazri, who didn't even play because he missed out. So if he's able to come back into the fold, there's a lot to be positive about with Tunisia, really. And Australia, of course, we've just seen Saudi Arabia beat Argentina, and when they took a lead against France, I thought, geez, this is not again, because player for player, they're in a completely different stratosphere to France and actually most of the teams in this competition. You look at the defence, and they've all basically played or been there or thereabouts in the Scottish Premiership and no higher, really, which kind of goes to show the level that they're at. But they showed adventure. I thought they showed a bit of steel. Obviously, wilted eventually, gave away some really sloppy goals defensively. But I saw some positives for them. I just wonder about their quality, really. And Tunisia's players do play at a higher level, a higher standard. They are better coached, I believe. Just 2 of the Australian squad play in Europe's top 5 leagues, neither of which are at first choice operators at Verona or Cadiz, really. So when you're sort of lacking options, invention, creativity, and ability in the final third, it's going to be hard to kind of carve open that Tunisian defence, which is pretty strong at the best of times. So I think Australia were a lot shorter for this match pre-tournament, or at least a couple of months out for the tournament. So things have swung in Tunisia's way, and I can see why that might be. But I didn't find a bet in this game. It's a tricky one. I can see obviously both teams having to go for it if they've got realistic aspirations to qualify. But pre-tournament, I would have sort of banked this as a BTTS no bet, and it's minus 125. But I think just the fact that the lay of the land, I'm going to leave it alone. I think there's better bets on the coupon.
Stinch, do we go overboard? We talk about, obviously, short-termism. Tunisia put in a far better performance than Australia did, but they were up against 2 different opponents. But I think that maybe Tunisia at plus 110, because if they win and Denmark get beat against France, then Tunisia have got every chance to qualify.
Yeah, for sure. I think there's a lot of group state going on here. Both teams obviously without a win from the first round, and this is by far the easiest game of each team group. So this is a massive
वेलकम बैक अगेन
chance
गाइस,
to
कैसे
get
हो आप सब? आई
3
होप आप सभी
points
अच्छे हो
and
गए
put
यार। तो
yourselves
प्लीज
in a
यार
great
जो भी
position to
ज्वाइन कर रहा
qualify
है,
for the second round.
देखो पता क्या है,
So
अभी
I
जब तक
don't
फीफा चल
wanna
रहा है
argue
तो
too
हम
much
फीफा
with
के
the
रिलेटेड अपडेट्स
differential in the
प्लस
price
जो
and the
भी
team
होगा
abilities. I think
मैचेस
it's
की,
fairly well reflected.
तो वो हम
Can't
यहाँ पे प्रोवाइड
outland
करेंगे अपने
the
चैनल
gap
के
in,
ऊपर। और हाँ,
quality, but I wanna
थोड़े ही दिनों
focus
में
here
गाइज
on the
अपन
goal line 'cause I
फिर
think
से
it's
लाइव
incredibly
करेंगे अपना
short.
गेमिंग का।
If you think about tournament
तो
football, obviously we have 3 rounds.
हो
and
सके तो
we've
सपोर्ट
seen in the
दिखाना
first
यार,
round
हो सके
group
तो इधर भी
stage
सपोर्ट
games
करना
that
फीफा
have
पे।
already been covered.
तो जो
Generally,
भी
you
आपकी
have a
फेवरेट
line
टीम है
of
प्लीज़
2,
कमेंट में ज़रूर
2.25.
बताओ। और
Second round of
एक
games
इम्पॉर्टेंट
mark
चीज़ है,
sort of,
क्योंकि देखो मैं कोई स्ट्रीम
introduced
नहीं
at the
छोड़ा,
start. There's more
बस
jeopardy,
टाइम
so
नहीं
more
मिलता
on the
जिसकी वजह
line.
से स्ट्रीम नहीं
So
करता
teams
हूँ।
tend to do
बट हाँ
more
गाइज,
attacking. So
आई
in my
होप आप
mind,
सभी
as
को
a
बहुत ही जल्द
compiler, you'd go sort of 50-50
मिलने
on the
मतलब
2.5
मौका मिलेगा
line.
फिर से
Then the third
साथ
round of
में खेलने के
games,
लिए स्ट्रीम पे।
some teams still have a chance to qualify,
तो
others already out. They just
सपोर्ट
let the
दिखाओ यार
handbrake off,
जितना हो
get some
सके
of the
इसको
reserve
भी।
players
अभी
in
देखो
and
ये
a
फीफा की
further
अपडेट्स हैं,
increase in goals. So
बस
then, yeah,
इसके
they're
रिलेटेड
generally
हम
looking at
थोड़ा सा
maybe
भी
a
अपडेट्स
2.75
देते
line.
रहेंगे
So
हमारे
I
चैनल पे।
can't get on
बट
board
हाँ,
really
ऐसा
with
नहीं
this,
कि मैंने
again,
गेमिंग का
another
चैनल
low
छोड़
goal
दिया
line,
है, गेमिंग का
when,
ही
as I
चैनल है,
said,
बस
both
नाम
teams have
चेंज
got
किया
so
था।
much to play for right here,
ठीक है,
right now. So
तो
yeah,
जैसे पहले सपोर्ट
not
करते थे,
really
पहले
in
प्यार
the
दिखाते थे यार, वैसे ही
process of
सपोर्ट
taking
प्यार
sort of
दिखाना।
-135
ठीक है,
prices. So just
और
gonna bump it
एक
up a little bit and
जो
go for the over 2.25
इम्पोर्टेंट
bet,
बात है
around about
कि जब तक
-110. So essentially,
फीफा
yeah, the
चलेगा
only way the bet
मतलब
will
तब
lose
तक
if there's
थोड़ा थोड़ा
0
बस
or 1
करेंगे
goals.
कोशिश
Was impressed
कि
with
फीफा से
Tunisia
रिलेटेड
against
ही
Denmark.
थोड़ा
I
अपडेट्स
think
देते रहें,
mentioned
क्योंकि
off air
यार मेरे
that
को फीफा बहुत
you
पसंद
don't want
है।
to read too much
तो
into
मैं
first round games in terms of
गेम
maybe
के चक्कर में
results, but
फीफा
in
को
terms of
अवॉइड नहीं कर
process, I
सकता।
think definitely, and it
हाँ,
showed that Tunisia
ये
aren't
है
here
कि
just
हाँ
to park the
स्ट्रीम
bus.
करेंगे हम,
I think they
वो
will attack. And then the
फ्री
same for
फायर की भी
Australia, you know, they
बहुत ही
came up
जल्द
against the world
आप सभी
champions
के
and
साथ
weren't
फिर
afraid.
से
Similar
ज्वाइन
approach
करेंगे उस
to
चीज़ को।
Canada.
बट हाँ, जो भी
As we
हमारे
saw
फ्री
earlier
फायर के
today, Saudi Arabia
फ्रेंड्स
went scared of
हैं,
Argentina,
सब्सक्राइबर्स
Japan
हैं,
went
तो
scared
वो
of
भी प्लीज़
Germany.
यार थोड़ा
Whereas then you look at teams like
कोऑपरेट
Mexico,
करना इस चीज़ को।
Poland, Wales, who just
और हाँ,
didn't,
अपनी
who just
फेवरेट
didn't
टीम
attack.
जो भी
So
आपकी
I'm
फेवरेट
happy to
है
lend
तो
myself
प्लीज़ एक बार
that
ज़रूर कमेंट
Australia
में
and
बताना।
Tunisia will attack at
और
some point.
फीफा से
And as soon
रिलेटेड
as that first
न्यू
goal
अपडेट्स
goes in, if indeed it does go
यहाँ
in,
पे
there's
हम
obviously,
देंगे, बस
of course,
इतना
a
ही।
chance it does finish
और
0-0.
प्लीज़
But I
आप
think
सभी
that'll
की
be
प्यार की
through
ज़रूरत है,
a
सपोर्ट की
lack
ज़रूरत है
of
यार।
bad finishing rather than
और हो
chance
सके तो
creation.
दबा
As soon
के
as that first goal goes in, I think it turns into very
सपोर्ट
much a
प्यार
basketball match.
दिखाओ।
And I think, yeah, the value is on your
इतना ही।
side with getting
तेजस
Haaland
भाई,
staying back
हाय
and
सर जी। अरे
presenting
तेजस,
2
क्या
goals.
हाल चाल मेरे भाई?
Okay, Barcelman says Tunisia scored first half at +107.
वेलकम ब्रदर,
Remember,
वेलकम यार,
obviously,
क्या हाल
to
चाल है?
hit the like button and the thumbs up. Tunisia,
बहुत दिन के बाद
basically double chance and both teams to score at +155. Tunisia to score twice is around
बस
the
यही है यार
+150. I struggled because
कि बस
if I'm going to have a
थोड़ा
bet
हम
this game, it's Tunisia
फीफा
to
की
win.
तरफ बस ये
Then I'm
स्ट्रीमिंग
thinking the draw
मतलब जब
might
तक
be
ये
a big
फीफा का
runner
चल
as
रहा है,
well. Let's have a little look at
तो
the
बस
initial
उसके
pick.
रिलेटेड
That'll
अपडेट्स
tell
के
you
लिए।
everything about this game, but we've got to cover it. It's on Saturday.
अरे
It's
आई नो
5
तेजस
a.m.
भाई,
Eastern.
अब बहुत दिन
So if
के
you don't
बाद
want
आए
to get
हो।
up early, you might not miss much. It's over 2.25.
बस मैं भी आज बहुत दिनों के बाद ही
100%, which
किया
means
स्ट्रीम
if
यार,
there is
क्योंकि
only
मेरे
2
को ना
goals, then
थोड़ा
he'll
टाइम
just
नहीं
lose
मिलता है।
half his stake. So it's a
और
push
थोड़ा
and
फीफा से
a loss
रिलेटेड
and
बस
it's half
अपडेट्स
loss.
के लिए
So
मैंने
there's,
चालू
no
किया,
tears about that game now. Save
क्योंकि
the
मेरे को
best
फीफा
till
बहुत
last
पसंद है,
and
इसीलिए
the,
बस और कुछ नहीं। और कोशिश करेंगे यार, फ्री फायर भी ज्वाइन करेंगे थोड़े दिनों में, बट अभी उतना इंटरेस्ट सा नहीं है। बस इसीलिए कोशिश करेंगे कि हाँ जल्दी ही सबके साथ फिर से हम स्टार्ट करें।
First things first, how are the
और अभी
Socceroos
ओनली
looking
फीफा
ahead of their group match
की
against
बातचीत
Tunisia tomorrow
चलेगी
night?
चैनल पे। और हाँ, सपोर्ट वैसे ही दिखाना, मुझे भी टाइम नहीं मिलता, मेरी 10th की एग्ज़ाम आ रही है। अरे वही तो यार तेजस, छोटे भाई मेरी एक बात याद रखना, पहले स्टडी इम्पोर्टेंट है, बाद में ये सब चीज़ें तो चलती रहेंगी, पूरी ज़िंदगी पड़ी है यार, ठीक है ना। पहले आपको अपना फोकस करना होगा अपने गोल के ऊपर, जो आपका गोल है, एम है, उसके ऊपर फोकस करो।
they seem to be here en masse, and so it'll be a really noisy
क्योंकि यार देखो
and
आगे बढ़ने का
atmospheric
आपको मौका
conditions
मिलता है,
for the Socceroos, most definitely.
बढ़ोगे
What have been the
पढ़ोगे
highlights of
तो
the
ही
recent
बढ़ोगे यार,
matches played?
उसके बिना कुछ नहीं हो पाएगा। स्टडी के
Quite a
स्टडीज
few actually,
वेरी
some
इंपॉर्टेंट
major
है,
surprises.
लाइफ में स्टडी
Japan beating
बहुत
Germany
इंपॉर्टेंट
and
है।
Argentina going down to Saudi Arabia.
बाकी यार
They
देखो
are big weeks to
FIFA
have
से
been
related
playing
है
so
अभी
early
की
on
stream तो
at a World Cup.
तो
It's
हो
only the group stages, of course.
शेयर ज़रूर करो यार
But to
अपने
think
दोस्तों
that
को,
those two teams
जो
defeated
भी
some of the
FIFA देखना
giants of
पसंद
world
करते हैं।
football historically is really something interesting. We've also seen teams like Tunisia and Morocco holding much more fancy
अरे
teams
तेजस
to
भाई, थैंक यू
draws.
सो मच यार
And,
तेजस
I
भाई,
guess it shows
शुक्रिया
a
ब्रदर।
bit of a pivot, a bit of a shifting in the tectonic plates of world football.
Well, this has really been a World Cup for the region, uniting
थैंक यू सो मच
old
तेजस भाई,
relationships that
20
had
रुपीज़ का
soured
सुपर
over the
चैट,
years
दिल
with
से
the
शुक्रिया
blockade
मेरे
of
भाई
Qatar.
आपका यार, इतने दिन के बाद आए।
Yes, and that blockade
But हाँ,
went
आपका प्यार है
years
bro.
long, didn't it?
Thank you so
And
much,
Qatar
Tejas.
was really frozen out by all of those
बस
neighbours
थोड़ा एक
around
काम
them.
करना,
There was a
चैनल
little
के
bit
लिंक
of
पर
animosity
तेजस
there,
भाई
a
थैंक यू
little
सो
bit
मच
of
यार।
jealousy.
तेजस
The
भाई
World
चैनल
Cup
के
did
लिंक
have
को ना
something
अपने
to do with
दोस्तों
that.
में शेयर
But
ज़रूर
that
कर देना,
all
जो भी
changed. The opening
फीफा
ceremony
देखना
was quite
पसंद करते हैं
interesting
वो आई
seeing
होप
the
सो
number of heads of
वो आके
state
थोड़ा
from
सा
all of those
देखेंगे, अच्छा
neighbouring
लगेगा
countries
उनको।
that came together, and even some
ठीक है
of them
तेजस,
known to have their own
बाकी अपने
fractious
दोस्तों को शेयर कर दो, इंस्टा
relationship.
फेसबुक
But that has
व्हाट्सएप
been
जहाँ
a
पे भी
sign
करना
of
चाहते
real
हो आप,
respect for
ज़रूर
the
शेयर करना
Qatari
मेरे भाई।
leadership here that have
Okay?
proven themselves time and time again as real
और शायद अभी
negotiators. We
पता
know
नहीं
that they play a significant
क्या
role
बोलते हैं,
with the
नोटिफिकेशन गया है
Americans
सबके
and
पास कि नहीं
negotiating
गया है।
with the Taliban in Afghanistan.
बाकी
All of those
थैंक यू सो मच फॉर
discussions
कमिंग
happen here in
तेजस,
Qatar,
लव यू
and,
ब्रदर, लव
they
यू एंड
proved it again
20
at the
रुपीज़ के लिए
opening
भी शुक्रिया
ceremony.
तुम्हारा।
And Tracy, the crowds are very different to the usual ones seen at a World Cup, we've been reporting. The teams must be sensing that difference in
बहुत दिन के
support.
बाद आया ना, तो थोड़ा
Oh, absolutely.
up and down रहेगा
you
यार,
know, this is
watching.
one of the selling
समझ
points that
सकते हो लोग।
Qatar always had with their bid. They said it was going to be first in the region and it would be for the region.
और
And that
thank you
has
so
really
much,
proven to be
आर्य
the
जी, आप
case.
भी
We know
join
that there
किए
are
यार,
shuttle
शुक्रिया।
flights coming in and out of
आपका भी
Dubai
दिल से
every
thank you
day.
यार।
I think Oman as well. There are even flights coming in from Israel, which is a first.
Thank you so
Those
much,
flights
Arya.
must have Palestinians on board to be able to land here. So Palestinians and Israelis flying in together. But it really is something quite significant. The people here really do feel as though
थोड़ा watching बढ़ाओ यार, शेयर वेयर करो, पता नहीं notification साला गया है कि नहीं गया है, but हाँ,
Tell us a bit
ज़रूर
more
शेयर
about
करना
what the
अपने अपने
locals'
friends को।
response have been. I mean, I can see there's a lot of enthusiasm from the crowds behind you and the noise we can hear. But tell us perhaps in more detail how they've responded to the tournament.
और फीफा से रिलेटेड
Well, it's been quite
अपडेट्स ही
fascinating
होगी
watching it
आज।
shift once the tournament got underway, because we know there was a real sustained campaign against Qatar holding the World Cup, particularly.
बाकी थोड़े ही दिनों में अपन यार ज्वाइन करेंगे, ठीक है, अपने गेमिंग चैनल, मतलब गेमिंग स्ट्रीम की तरफ।
Let's move on to game number 3. I found this game really tricky, to be honest, because it's Tunisia versus Australia. Tunisia at plus 110, Australia at plus 285.
तो गेमिंग के लिए भी अपन जल्दी ही चलेंगे, ठीक है।
game.
तो सपोर्ट करना बस ऐसे ही यार, अपना प्यार दिखाते रहना, और जो भी आपकी फेवरेट टीम है, अगर आप फीफा देखना पसंद करते हो तो न्यू अपडेट्स के लिए बस हमारे चैनल पे आते रहना, विजिट करते रहना, सपोर्ट दिखाना, सब्सक्राइब करना, लाइक करना, शेयर करना, जैसा भी आपको ठीक लगे वैसा करना यार। भाई फीफा को लाइव दिखा रहे हो तो कॉपीराइट नहीं लगेगा क्या? अरे तेजस भाई, नहीं, फीफा का एक्चुअली मैं बता दूंगा कि क्या सीन है। मैं फुल टू लाइव नहीं दिखा सकता, हाँ मेरे पास एप्स हैं, सब कुछ है, मैं लाइव दिखाने को दिखा सकता हूँ, बट साला कॉपीराइट मिल जाता है, इसी वजह से मैं लाइव नहीं दिखा सकता। हाँ, अपडेट्स दे सकता हूँ, जो फीफा के रिलेटेड अपडेट्स हैं, जैसे कि आज जो भी मैचेस होने वाले हैं उसके बारे में, वो अपडेट्स मैं दे सकता हूँ, उसमें कोई इश्यूज नहीं है, क्योंकि उसमें मेरा वॉइस ओवर होगा, तो उससे मेरे को कॉपीराइट नहीं मिल सकता। बट हाँ, अगर मैं उनकी स्ट्रीम या किसी भी चैनल से स्ट्रीम लेके शेयर करूंगा आप सबके साथ, तो मेरे को वो कॉपीराइट देंगे ही देंगे। तो तुम्हें पता है यार, किसी की चीज को यूज करना वो लीगल है ना, सॉरी इलीगल है ना कि लीगल है। तो हाँ, अगर जैसे अपडेट्स में है उसमें मेरा वॉइस ओवर जा रहा है तो उसमें कोई इश्यू नहीं है।
If you look at the expected goals figures, almost 90%
बाकी
of
यार
the XG that Denmark
अपन
created
गेमिंग
came
के
from
लिए
set
भी
piece
मैं एक चीज़
situations,
बोलना चाहता हूँ
which
तुम
kind of just
सबको
goes to show how
कि
good
हाँ चलेंगे
Tunisia
बहुत
can
जल्दी
be
ही
at denying opposition teams
शिफ्ट करेंगे गेमिंग पे
opportunities from
क्योंकि
open
यार
play, and
एक्चुअली
then
ना
you've
यार
got the
पहले
likes of
जैसा
Khazri, who
मन
didn't
नहीं
even
करता
play
फोकस
because
नहीं रह
he
गया
missed
है
out. So
ना
if he's
मन
able
करता
to
है
come back
खेलने
into the
का।
fold, there's a lot to be positive about with Tunisia, really.
और
And
तेजस भाई मैं
yeah,
आपको बेस्ट
Australia,
ऑफ
of
लक
course,
बोलना
we've
चाहता
just
हूँ
seen
और
Saudi
हाँ
Arabia
ध्यान
beat
रखना ब्रदर
Argentina
स्टडी में
when they
अपना
took a lead against France. I thought,
गेमिंग हो गया
geez, this
और
is
फालतू
not
के
a
काम
game.
तो चलते रहेंगे
Because
पूरी
player for
ज़िंदगी
player,
भर
they're
यार
in a
जो एक
completely
बार
different
मौका मिला है वो
stratosphere
बार बार नहीं
to
मिलता
France, and actually
तो
most
अपना
of the
फोकस
teams
है जो भी
in this
आपका
competition,
स्टडी
you
में
look at the
तो उसको
defence, and
पूरा
they've
अचीव
all
करो
basically
क्योंकि
played
देखो
or been there
मैं
or
एक छोटी
thereabouts
सी
in the
बात
Scottish
आपसे शेयर
Premiership
करना चाहता
and no
हूँ
higher, really,
मेरा
which
एक
kind of goes
छोटा
to show the
भाई
level
था
that they're
कज़न
at.
था
But they showed
उसने बहुत
adventure. I
स्टडी
thought
किया
they showed a
मेहनत
bit of
किया
skill.
और
Obviously wilted
3
eventually,
से
gave
4
away
दिन
some
हो
really
गए
sloppy goals
उसको
defensively.
ऑफर
But
लेटर आ गया
you know, I saw
बीएसएफ
some
से
positives
वो
for
ज्वाइन
them.
हो चुका है
I just
बीएसएफ
wonder about their
में
quality, really. And you know, Tunisia's players do play
तो
at a
इसलिए
higher
कहते हैं
level, a
मेहनत
higher
करते रहो
standard.
यार
They are better
आगे
coached,
बढ़ो
I
जितना हो
believe.
सके
Just two of the
अपने घर
Australian
वालों
squad
का
playing Europe's
परिवार
top
का
5 leagues, neither of which
अपनी
are
फैमिली का
first
नाम
choice
रोशन करो बस यार
operators
दबा
of
के
Verona or Cadiz, really. So when you're
और
sort of
हाँ
lacking
अपने इस भाई को
options,
भी हमेशा याद
invention,
रखना सपोर्ट
creativity,
करते रहना
and ability in the final third, it's going to
लाइक
be hard to
करके
kind of carve
शेयर
open that
करके
Tunisian
सब्सक्राइब
defence,
करके
which is pretty strong at the best of times. So I think Australia were a lot
अरे
shorter for this
तेजस
match
एक्चुअली
pre-tournament, or
सीन
at
क्या
least a
है ना
couple of
यार
months out for the
पहले
tournament. So things
सभी
have
फ्रेंड्स
swung
थे
in
जितने भी थे
Tunisia's way, and I can
ऑलमोस्ट
see
सभी
why
एक
that
साथ
might
आते
be.
थे
But
खेलने के लिए ठीक है
yeah, I didn't find
कोई
the bet
मिल
in this
जाता
game.
कोई फ़ोन करके
It's
बुलाता
a
कोई
tricky
कुछ
one.
करता
I can see obviously both
अभी
teams
सबके पास उतना
having to
टाइम
go
नहीं
for
है
it
जो
if they've
तुम्हारी
got
जैसे
realistic
जनरेशन है
aspirations to qualify.
तुम सबके
But
पास अभी स्टडीज़ का टाइम है तो
pre-tournament, I would have
फ्री हो
sort of
जाते हो
backed
मिल
this as
लेते हो
a
दोस्तों के
BTTS
साथ
no bet.
खेल
It's
लेते हो
-125. But
हम सब की
I think
जनरेशन है
just the
जो
fact that
हम तो तेरे तुम्हें
the
पता है
lay of
ना
the
तुम
land, I'm
कितना
going to leave
एज
it
है
alone.
मेरा
I think there's better
समथिंग
bets on the coupon.
20
Stinch, do we go
4
overboard?
5
We
6
talk
समथिंग
about
ऐसा
obviously
तो
short-termism.
हमारी एज में
Tunisia
यार
putting
स्टडी
a
से
far better performance than
जो हो गया
Australia did,
अब
but they were up
गेमिंग
against
से
two
जो होना
different
है
opponents.
हमको काम भी
But
करना ज़रूरी है
I
तो
think that
उतना
maybe
टाइम नहीं मिल
Tunisia are
पाता यार
+110
चीज़ों के
because
लिए
if they win and Denmark get
तुम
beat
समझ
against
सकते हो यार बस
France,
हाँ एक प्रोफेशन है
Tunisia
मेरा
have got
गेमिंग
like
का
every chance to
स्ट्रीमिंग
qualify.
का बस इसको थोड़ा थोड़ा फॉलो